Let's dive in and unlock the power of AI together. Artificial intelligence is the study of how we can make computers imitate intelligent behavior, doing things that human beings. AI is transforming industries, creating new career paths, and changing the way businesses operate worldwide. If you want to be part of this exciting shift, you're in the right place. In this course, you'll get hands on with Azure AI and see real world examples of how these technologies are making an impact. We'll also dive into responsible AI, discussing Microsoft's 6 core principles and how you can apply them in your projects. I'm Ziggy Zulueta, a Microsoft AI MVP, technical consultant, and Microsoft certified trainer. Let's dive in and unlock the power of AI together. Artificial intelligence is the study of how we can make computers imitate intelligent behavior, doing things that human beings excel at. The term artificial intelligence was coined in 1956 during a small summer research project at Dartmouth College. John McCarthy, a mathematics professor there, claimed that learning and intelligence could be precisely described and simulated by machines. Now, what is intelligence anyway? The definition isn't clear. For example, is a dog intelligent? People will give you different answers. Some may say dogs aren't intelligent since they cannot pass IQ tests. But one can argue that IQ tests don't fully measure intelligence. In AI, we define intelligence using the Turing test, created by Alan Turing in 1950. In the Turing test, a computer and a person are tasked to answer questions provided by a human evaluator. If a human evaluator cannot tell a computer from a person, the computer is said to be intelligent. To make a computer think like us, we need a model of how we think. And to build this model, we can use a top-down or a bottom-up approach. The top-down approach, or knowledge-driven AI, powered early AI systems. This approach involves programming rules and expert knowledge into the system. It involves breaking down problems into smaller subproblems and creating rules for each. The system then follows these step-by-step rules, like if-then statements or complex logic, to reach a solution. This creates a rule-based system. While initially successful, it was hard to keep the knowledge base accurate, up-to-date, and accounting for every scenario. Nowadays, most AI systems use the bottom-up approach. This approach models the simplest unit of the brain, the neuron. We build artificial neural networks and teach them to solve problems using data examples. The system learns from data, automatically discovering patterns and rules. Instead of predefined rules, it processes vast amounts of data to extract insights. For example, consider computer chess playing systems. Early systems, built top-down, used grandmasters' moves and expert rules. Newer chess systems, using the bottom-up approach, learn by playing themselves and learning from their mistakes, just like humans. Because they can play far more games in less time, modern chess playing systems now surpass even the best human players. This course covers key AI tasks and capabilities, most of which use the bottom-up approach. Machine learning is often regarded as the foundation of AI systems, and is the way we teach a computer model to predict and draw conclusions from data. Computer vision is the capability to interpret the world visually through cameras, videos, and images. Natural language processing is the capability to interpret and respond to written or spoken language. Document intelligence is the capability to manage and process large volumes of data in forms and documents. Knowledge mining is the capability to extract useful information from large unstructured datasets to create searchable knowledge stores. Finally, generative AI is the capability to create original content in formats like natural language, image, code, and more. AI has been changing the business landscape, and Microsoft Azure has enabled companies to be AI ready. And that is why you need to equip yourself with AI skills. In September 2023, a Microsoft commissioned IDC study that surveyed over 2,000 global business leaders and decision makers was published with some interesting findings. AI brings strong returns. For every $1 invested, companies earn an average of $3.50, with 5% of them seeing returns as high as $8. AI implementation is fast. 92% of deployments are completed within 12 months, and 40% in under 6 months. ROI is also swift. Organizations see returns in an average of around 14 months. Customer satisfaction, employee productivity, and market share all saw an 18% increase. However, 52% were unable to scale AI due to a lack of skilled workers. In May 2024, another Microsoft commissioned Forrester study explored how Microsoft Azure helped companies become AI ready. More specifically, it measured the total economic impact of migrating to Microsoft Azure for AI readiness. Forrester found that AI and machine learning deployment and operational costs on Azure were reduced by 17% and 15% respectively compared to on-premises infrastructure. They also found that most companies using Azure Cloud had an easier time scaling and more flexibility to innovate their AI and machine learning applications than with on-premises infrastructure. Finally, also in May 2024, Microsoft and LinkedIn published the Work Trend Index annual report, showing how AI is shaping the job market. Leaders are prioritizing candidates with AI skills. 66% of leaders wouldn't hire someone without AI skills. 71% would prefer hiring a less experienced candidate with AI skills over a more experienced candidate without them. Junior candidates gain an edge. 77% of leaders say AI will allow them to take on more responsibility. In addition, professionals are taking the initiative, learning AI skills on their own. 76% believe AI skills are essential to stay competitive. 69% think AI skills can accelerate promotions, and 79% think they can broaden job opportunities. In summary, learning AI is essential today, and Microsoft Azure can help you get there. Machine learning is an AI technique that uses mathematical algorithms to create predictive models. We give an algorithm example data, and it learns by finding patterns to generate models. Those models are used to make predictions or decisions about new data. Now, do you ever wonder how this works behind the scenes? Let's say a farmer wants to use machine learning to predict crop yield. First, the farmer gathers data such as rainfall, temperature, soil humidity, elevation, sunlight, and even chemicals like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and sulfur. In machine learning, we call these features of the model represented as X. The farmer also measures crop yield based on these features. This would be called the label in machine learning, represented as Y. The farmer tracks these observations for a full year, considering seasonality, and places them in a dataset. Once the data is collected, it's split into a training set, usually 70 to 80% of the data, and a validation set, which is around 20 to 30% of the data. In the second step, called training, the model looks for patterns between the features X and the label Y. This process then informs the algorithms to create a function that returns Y given parameters X. In other words, f of x is equal to y is a trained model. Next is validation. The model uses the validation set to predict outcomes, and the farmer checks how accurate these predictions are against real data using statistical methods. Training and validation are iterative processes. If the results aren't right, you tweak parameters, retrain, and validate until you get the desired results. The last step is inferencing. After choosing the best model, the farmer installs it on a website or app and uses it to predict the crop yields for the next harvest. In the next videos, we'll cover the different types of machine learning, but they all follow this process: data gathering, training, testing, and inferencing. Machine learning has various types, each suited to different problems. Supervised machine learning uses algorithms where training data includes both features, the X values, and labels, the Y values, matching each X value to a Y value. Supervised learning models find relationships between features and labels to predict future outcomes, just like the farmer example from the previous video. Now, the two main types of supervised learning are regression and classification. Regression predicts continuous values such as crop yields based on temperature and moisture, and car prices based on engine size, horsepower, and other features. Classification, on the other hand, predicts categories, and it comes in two forms: binary and multi-class. Binary classification predicts one of two outcomes, like yes or no, or valuable or not valuable. For example, predicting the onset of diabetes based on clinical data, or whether a customer will default on a loan or not based on credit history. On the other hand, multi-class classification predicts from multiple categories like identifying a dog's breed, determining the type of a movie, or user experience rating of a service. Note that categories are mutually exclusive. For example, a poodle isn't a bulldog, and a user experience rating is usually positive, neutral, or negative. However, there are some algorithms that handle multi-label classification, allowing a movie, for example, to be both comedy and horror. Now, unsupervised machine learning uses only feature data, the X values, finding patterns without labels, the Y values. Clustering, a common unsupervised method, groups similar data points, identifying patterns without labels. For example, grouping flowers by size and number of petals, or grouping customers by demographics and purchasing behavior. While both clustering and multi-class classification group data, clustering does so without labels. The algorithm finds the relevant groupings. Semi-supervised learning combines both supervised and unsupervised methods, using labeled data to categorize the rest. For example, a photo album may have a few photos labeled cat or dog, but most are unlabeled. The algorithm uses these labeled images to be able to label the rest. Finally, reinforcement learning uses rewards and punishment to train the algorithms. When positive actions are performed, a reward is given to encourage the system to continue those actions. Conversely, when negative actions are performed, a punishment is given to discourage those actions. An example would be autonomous vehicles that learn to drive better when they get rewarded for positive behavior and avoid negative behavior when given punishments. Now that we've covered the types of machine learning, we'll dive deeper into specific ones in the next videos. Regression models predict numerous outcomes using data features. Once features are gathered, training the model involves 4 steps. First, we split the dataset into training and validation sets. The training set builds the model, while the validation set checks its performance. Typically, 70 to 80% of the data is used for training, while 20 to 30% for validation. We randomly split the data to ensure each set represents the overall dataset. Next, we use an algorithm to fit the training set. Options include linear, polynomial, ridge, lasso, quantile, Bayesian, and many more, each with parameters to adjust. Once a model is built, we use it to predict values from the validation set. Finally, we compare the predicted values to the actual labels using metrics to evaluate performance. Keep in mind that training involves multiple iterations, adjusting variations until an acceptable validation performance is achieved. Iterations may involve adjusting features, such as removing land elevation from the model in our farming example, and adding pest infestation as a factor in predictions of crop yield. Changing what algorithm you use may also lead you to better results. Finally, modifying parameter settings of the algorithm will also provide different results. In this photo, you will see how decision forest regression has many parameters that will influence the result of the algorithm. While we won't cover every algorithm in this course, the most commonly used ones are linear regression, which finds a linear connection between the features and labels, and polynomial regression, which finds non-linear relationships between features and labels, drawing a curved best fit line. Some of the common methods to measure model performance are mean absolute error, MAE, which measures the average error magnitude. In other words, it measures if the model is consistently off by a small or large amount. If the label is 25 ice creams sold, but the model predicted 22 or 28, the absolute error is 3. MAE averages these errors across the validation set, reaching a value of 2.33. Mean squared error, MSE, squares each error, emphasizing large discrepancies. Note that we use the same table as before and square the absolute errors for each record. The result is an MSE of 6. Root mean squared, RMSE, takes the square root of MSE to return the error to the original units. The root square of 6 gives us 2.45, which is the root mean squared error in ice cream units sold against our validation set. Finally, coefficient of determination, R2, is a value between 0 and 1. The closer to 1, the better the model fits the data. The calculation of the coefficient of determination, or R2, is complex. We get the sum of square differences between the predicted and actual labels and divide that with the sum of square differences between the actual label values and the mean of actual label values. Binary classification predicts one of two outcomes, like yes and no, or valuable and not valuable. It's a supervised technique requiring features to have assigned labels. Like regression, it follows an iterative process of training, validating, and evaluating. However, classification algorithms calculate probabilities for class assignment, not numeric values. For example, let's build a model to predict if a person will develop diabetes based on features like blood pressure, cholesterol, BMI, and smoking habits. We trained the model using an algorithm that fits the data to a function, calculating the probability of diabetes, ranging from 0 to 1. For instance, if the probability is 0.7, then the chance of not having diabetes is 0.3. Similar to regression, there are many algorithms: logistic regression, decision tree, random forest, and support vector machines, among others. Logistic regression is popular for its simplicity, using a sigmoid S-shaped function ranging from 0 to 1. Predictions are compared to a threshold, typically 0.5. Values above or equal to 0.5 indicate diabetes 1, and values below indicate no diabetes 0. Like regression, you reserve a random subset of data to validate the model. To evaluate the model, you create a confusion matrix, a count of correct and incorrect predictions for each class. It might sound confusing, but let's simplify it. Assume our diabetes model gives the results in the following matrix. True negatives, Tn, indicate our model correctly predicted non-diabetic cases. False positives, Fp, are incorrect diabetes predictions. False negatives, Fn, are incorrect non-diabetic predictions. True positives, Tp, indicate our model correctly predicted diabetes. After creating a confusion matrix, we compute these metrics. Accuracy is the percentage of correct predictions, which is 83% in our case. Recall measures how well the model identifies actual diabetic cases. Ours correctly identifies 75% of them. Precision measures how accurate the model's positive predictions are. Our model shows a precision of 100%. Finally, the F1 score combines recall and precision, making it useful as a single performance metric. Our model's F1 score is 0.86. Another key metric is the area under the curve, AUC, which shows how well the model predicts diabetes compared to random guessing. Most software calculates this automatically. An AUC of 1 indicates a perfect model. An AUC of 0.5 or lower means the model is guessing randomly. You should aim for an AUC between 0.5 and 1. Multi-class classification predicts one of three or more outcomes. Like linear regression and binary classification, each observation must have an assigned label. However, multi-class classification algorithms calculate probabilities across multiple classes, helping the model identify the most likely class for each observation. Let's look at an example. We have customer data including age range, purchase history, location, engagement level, and income. These are our features. The customer type is our label with three possible classes: budget shopper, brand loyalist, or occasional buyer. To train a multi-class model, we fit an algorithm to the data that computes probability values for each class. There are two types of algorithms for this: one versus rest, OVR, and multinomial. One versus rest, OVR algorithms create a binary classifier for each class. Each function calculates the probability of an observation belonging to its respective class. For our customer model, this means three classifiers: one for budget shoppers, one for brand loyalists, and one for occasional buyers. The highest probability among the three determines the customer type. Multinomial algorithms, on the other hand, produce a single function that outputs a probability distribution across all classes, summing to 1. For example, an output like 0.2, 0.3, 0.5 indicates the probabilities for budget shoppers, brand loyalists, and occasional buyers respectively. The highest value, 0.5, identifies the customer as an occasional buyer. To evaluate multi-class classifiers, we use binary metrics for each class and aggregate metrics across all classes. The confusion matrix expands on the binary version, showing predictions for each actual class in the validation set. For more details on evaluating multi-class models, you can go to the multi-class classification training for Microsoft Learn. Clustering is a powerful form of unsupervised learning that groups data points based on their similarity. It's especially useful when you have no prior knowledge about the data and need to uncover hidden patterns. For instance, let's say we want to understand different types of customers based on features like purchase history or website visits, but we don't have any predefined labels. Clustering can help us classify these customers into meaningful groups. There are several clustering algorithms available, including k-means, dbScan, and Gaussian mixture models. Today we'll focus on k-means, one of the most popular methods. Let's see how this algorithm works graphically. Imagine we have two features: number of leaves, x1, and number of petals, x2. We start by plotting our observations in a 2D space. If we decide on three clusters, k equals 3, we randomly place 3 points, called centroids, on the plot. Each data point is then assigned to the closest centroid, creating 3 initial clusters. The centroids are then moved to the center of their assigned clusters based on the average distance from each data point. This process repeats, reassigning points and moving centroids until the centroids stop moving or a set number of iterations is reached. Once the iteration is complete, we get our 3 classes. Now, good clustering separates groups clearly. Here's how we evaluate the results. Average distance to the centroid measures the average distance of each point to their assigned centroid. Ideally, data points should be close to their centroid. If they're too far, It may indicate weak relationships within the cluster. Maximum distance to the centroid determines the farthest distance between a point to its actual centroid. If one data point is much farther from the centroid, it could be an outlier. Average distance to other centroids measures how close each point in a cluster is to other centroids. You want points to be far from other centroids and close to their own. If a data point is near multiple centroids, it might indicate uncertainty about its correct cluster. Finally, the silhouette score summarizes the ratio of distance between points in the same cluster and points in different clusters. A value between -1 and 1 indicates how well separated the clusters are. The closer to 1, the better the clustering. Neural networks and deep learning are forms of machine learning inspired by the brain. Our brain's neurons receive sensory inputs, what we see, hear, touch, taste, or smell, and process them to generate responses. Neural networks mimic this structure. An input layer takes in data, an output layer gives results, and hidden layers process the information. Let's look at our customer data with its 4 features: age range, purchasing history, location, and engagement level. We want to classify customers into 3 groups: budget shopper, brand loyalist, or occasional buyer. Here, the input layer has 4 nodes, 1 per feature, and the output layer has 3 nodes, 1 per customer type. The output shows probabilities for each class. Determining the number of hidden layer nodes involves some art and some trial and error, a process not covered in this course. Weights are assigned to each node connection in the hidden layer. Initially, they're randomly assigned, but get adjusted during training, indicating the strength and direction of influence between neurons. So how does a neural network learn? During training, datasets are split into training and validation sets, and the training features are fed into the input layer. Each layer processes this data through forward propagation using weights to predict class probabilities. The output layer then provides a list of predicted probabilities for each class. Next, a loss function measures the accuracy of these predictions against the actual values. An optimization algorithm then adjusts weights to minimize this loss. The new weights are then applied back to the layers in the network, replacing the old ones. This process is called backpropagation. This process repeats over multiple iterations, called epochs, until the model reaches an acceptable accuracy level. What we've described is a deep learning system, or deep neural network, with multiple hidden layers for complex processing. A simple neural network has only one hidden layer. Microsoft Azure Machine Learning is a cloud service that helps you train, deploy, and manage machine learning models efficiently. With Azure, you can clean, transform, and feature engineer your data for modeling. You can choose from supervised and unsupervised algorithms to build your models. You can keep track of trained models for easy access and updates. You can also deploy models to websites or mobile apps quickly and easily. And finally, you can also apply responsible AI principles to ensure ethical use. Azure Machine Learning also offers the following: You can store your datasets centrally for training and evaluation, access powerful computing without the need for physical servers, simply upload your data, set parameters, and let Azure find the best model for tasks like regression or classification using automated machine learning. The Designer tool is a drag and drop interface for building models with flexibility and control. You can also use frameworks like MLflow and Jupyter Notebooks for advanced management and coding. Finally, there are some visualization and metrics tools which help you assess model explainability, fairness, and other responsible AI metrics. In the following videos, we'll walk you through accessing the service and demonstrate its features. Almost every AI system today relies on machine learning or its subset. Let's look at a real-world example using Azure Machine Learning. MultiChoice, a satellite TV provider in South Africa, serves over 20 million people across Africa. To enhance their recommendation engine, they switched from a rule-based system to Azure Machine Learning. Their old system depended on static rules like user preferences and item metadata. If a user followed a football team, it recommended related content. But when relevant content wasn't available, it often suggested unrelated sports like tennis or golf. Adjusting these rules was manual, complex, and didn't account for changing user behavior. It also lacked real-time updates, only refreshing content once a day. By using Azure, MultiChoice trained an AI model with a couple of months of historical data, user interactions, metadata, and contextual details like the time of the day. The new model serves personalized fresh recommendations in real time. An A and B test comparing the old and new systems showed a 20% boost in article readership and a 15% increase in video views. Complaints about recommendations vanished, and operational costs dropped by 20%. Training the model now takes just 12 hours, allowing overnight updates without disrupting service. With Azure security protocols, MultiChoice ensures user data is safe, with encryption both in storage and transit. This example highlights how Azure Machine Learning transforms customer experience. Most, if not all, of the streaming and e-commerce services use machine learning to recommend content based on user behavior. They would collect user viewing and purchasing behavior to train their AI models to recommend TV shows, movies, or products. In order to access the services of Azure Machine Learning, you first need to create an Azure Machine Learning resource. Let me show you how this is done. First, you need to create an Azure account. There are two ways to do this. If you're a professional, go to the Azure website and click on the Start Free button to bring you to a registration process. With this free account, there will be a list of products you can use for free. You will also be given $200 credit to use in your first 30 days. In order to get this benefit, you would need to provide a credit card that has never been used to ensure that users do not abuse the free trial offer by creating multiple accounts. Your credit card will not be charged during this free trial process. However, once your $200 credit has been used up or the 30 days are over, the system will ask you to convert to a pay-as-you-go subscription plan. The process to create a new student account is the same as a process for creating a professional one. You just have to go to another website. However, there are a few key differences. First, there will be an academic verification wherein you need to provide proof of enrollment at an accredited school. Second, students do not need to provide a credit card. And third, $100 will be provided, which can be renewed yearly. Once you have created an account, let's create our Azure Machine Learning resource. Let's head to the Azure portal using the URL portal.azure.com. At the top search bar, type Azure Machine Learning. Then click on Create New Workspace. Under Resource Group, click Create New and enter an appropriate name. Enter a name for the workspace. Choose the region nearest you. Click Review plus Create. Then click Create. Resource creation will approximately take a few minutes. Once the resource is created, you can then go to the resource and launch the Azure Machine Learning Studio. The Studio will allow you to access all the available services of Azure Machine Learning. Let's explore Azure Machine Learning using a real-world dataset, wine quality. Our dataset includes features like acidity, pH levels, sulfates, and alcohol content. The goal: we want to predict wine quality, ranging from 4 to 9, a classic classification problem since these are discrete values. Azure Automated Machine Learning simplifies this by handling algorithm selection, parameter tuning, and iteration automatically. Let's walk through it. Go to Authoring, Automated ML. Click New Automated ML Job. Name your job and experiment, or use the defaults. Select Classification as the task type. Under Select Data, click Create New, and name your dataset. Choose Tabular as the type, local files as the data source, upload your dataset, review your dataset and verify the schema, then click Create. Back on the Automated ML Job screen, select your data and click Next. Choose Target Column, which in this case is wine quality. You can enable deep learning if you prefer. However, we won't for this demo. In the configurations, you can review the primary metric and algorithms. You can also block algorithms you don't want to use. Set a 60-minute iteration timeout. Let's use a train validation split with a 20% validation of data. Choose the default serverless compute. Then click Submit the job. The training will take about 45 minutes, and you'll see the best model and its results along with other algorithms it tested. Azure will also provide data guardrails. For example, it may warn about limited data points for class number 9. Additionally, you'll get model explanations. For those interested, Azure ML Designer offers a drag-and-drop interface to build models manually. In this example, we have 25 features of a car, such as make, fuel type, number of doors, length, width, and number of cylinders. The label or target is the car's price. We'll predict the price based on these 25 features. You simply drag and drop components onto the canvas and adjust their parameters. Here, we compare two models, boosted decision tree regression and decision forest regression. Unlike automated ML, we manually tweak each model's parameters. Once configured, click Submit to run the job. The job takes about 10 minutes. After viewing the evaluation results, boosted decision tree regression outperforms decision forest. We can return to the designer, replace decision forest with another model. We rerun the job to compare results. In this case, boosted decision tree regression still delivers the best performance. Pro developers can now run Python code and Jupyter notebooks directly in Azure Machine Learning. Here's a look at the interface built for pro developers. In this example, a compute resource is attached to a Jupyter notebook, enabling us to run Python code. We step through each cell to train a classification model that predicts diabetes, and we can see the results in the jobs table. In summary, Azure Machine Learning supports no-code, low-code, and pro-code interfaces, catering to different user needs. Computer vision is a field of AI that enables systems to interpret visual data from cameras, videos, and images. Popular computer vision tasks include image classification. This classifies images by content. For example, traffic systems use it to identify vehicles like taxis, buses, and cyclists. Image analysis goes deeper by generating descriptive captions or extracting information. It's useful in apps for the visually impaired, helping them understand their surroundings through photo descriptions. Object detection identifies and locates objects within an image using bounding boxes. For instance, traffic systems can detect different vehicle types, or factories can spot defects on a production line. Face detection and recognition locates and analyzes human faces, matching them against databases. It's used in security systems, for building access, or in finance to verify identities with government IDs. Optical character recognition extracts text from images, automating data entry from scanned documents like invoices or forms. Video analysis tracks people and objects in videos, providing insights such as customer behavior in stores. Retailers can use it to track visitor movement, optimize store layouts, and improve product placement. There are actually a lot more. Computer vision helps systems see and understand the world, making tasks like traffic management and customer tracking easier. Deep learning has become the dominant method in computer vision. But before diving into how it works, let's break down how computers process images. To a computer, an image is just a grid of numeric pixel values. Start with a black and white photo. Imagine a 7 by 7 pixel image, where 0 represents black and 255 represents white. This is a grayscale image. In reality, most digital images today are made up of three layers or channels: red, green, and blue. For example, a color image has three channels that combine to form an image, like the grayscale one. A purple square might be defined by red 150, green 0, and blue 255, and a yellow square by red 255, green 255, and blue 0. Computers process images using filters, which are grids of pixel values called filter kernels. A 3 by 3 filter kernel, for example, can transform an image through matrix computations applied to each pixel group. Since the filter kernel is convolved across the image, this process, called convolutional filtering, alters the image by highlighting edges, blurring, sharpening, or inverting colors. One popular filter is the Laplace filter, which highlights edges in an image. Convolutional neural networks, CNNs, a type of deep learning model, are widely used in computer vision. For image classification, for instance, a CNN is trained with label images, like 0 for apples, 1 for bananas, or 2 for oranges. CNNs then use filter kernels to extract information and create feature maps from the images. So if we use 3 filter kernels in our example, we will have 3 feature maps. The values of these feature maps are then fed into the input layer of a deep learning model. The feature values are then fed into a fully connected neural network. The output layer then provides the probability value that determines which class the image belongs to. In addition, a loss function calculates the error or loss between the predicted and actual values. The weights in the neural network and the filter values are adjusted to minimize the error. This process, repeated over multiple iterations, called epochs, gradually reduces the loss and improves the model's accuracy. Although CNNs have been central to computer vision, newer models like transformer-based multimodal neural network architectures are emerging. These models, trained on large datasets of images and captions, learn to associate images and text. An image encoder extracts features from pixel values, and a language encoder extracts features from text. The overall model would capture relationships between images and language. Unlike the CNN model that purely processes images, this new model includes images and text captions in the training. Microsoft's Florence model is an example. Trained on vast amounts of captioned images from the text, it includes both a language encoder and an image encoder. Unlike CNNs, which specialize on one task, like image classification, object detection, or captioning, Florence model can handle all these tasks. We'll explore foundation models further in another chapter. Microsoft Azure AI Vision provides pre-built and customizable computer vision models, powered by the Florence Foundation model, giving you a range of powerful capabilities. With Azure AI Vision, you can quickly and easily create advanced computer vision solutions. Key features include the following. The service uses optical character recognition, OCR, to detect and extract text from images. For example, it can read an addition label on a grocery store product. The service evaluates objects in an image and generates a human-readable description. For instance, it can detect and describe multiple objects in a scene. Azure AI Vision can identify thousands of common objects in images, providing a confidence score for each. It also returns bounding box coordinates to show exactly where each object is located. Based on the image's content, the service suggests tags for indexing and search purposes, making it easier to organize and retrieve images. You can search for specific moments in your photo collection, like a wedding, your pet, or your favorite city, based on the image's content, rather than manually assign keywords. Other capabilities include brand detection, image categorization, face detection, and many more. For a full list of features, visit Azure AI Vision documentation. To use Azure AI Vision, you need to create a resource for it in your Azure subscription. You can use either of the following resource types. The Azure AI Vision Service resource type is used if you don't intend to use any other Azure AI services, or if you want to track utilization and cost for Azure AI Vision resource separately. The Azure AI Services resource is a general resource that includes Azure AI Vision, along with many other Azure AI services, such as Azure AI Language, OpenAI, Speech, Content Safety, and Translator. Use this resource type if you plan to use multiple AI services and want to simplify administration and development. Once set up, there are multiple ways to access the service. Azure AI Vision Studio is a user-friendly interface to explore and test features without writing code. After experimenting, developers can integrate these services into applications using client libraries and APIs. Give Azure AI Vision a try and see how it can simplify your computer vision tasks. Microsoft's pre-built model is trained on hundreds of millions of images. However, there are scenarios where creating a custom model is still necessary because your specific use case may not be covered. With Azure AI Custom, you can train a specialized image analysis model tailored to your needs. Let's look at a few examples. In the retail industry, companies may need to automate inventory management by identifying and categorizing their company products on shelves. In the manufacturing industry, companies may need to detect defects in their products on assembly lines. In agriculture, farmers may need to monitor the health of crops and detect pest activity. In healthcare, AI may assist in diagnosing diseases through medical imaging. Finally, environmentalists may need AI to detect environmental changes such as detecting steam on rivers or detect the presence of animals in specific areas. Custom models can perform two tasks: image classification or object detection. Image classification predicts the category of an image, like identifying different types of fruit. Object detection goes a step further, identifying objects and providing their locations within an image. In the next few videos, we'll show you how easy it is to label and train your own models using Azure. The Azure AI Vision service detects faces in an image and provides a bounding box for their location. But most companies need more than basic detection. That's where Azure AI Face comes in. It offers advanced facial detection, analysis, and recognition. The key features include: face detection identifies faces in an image, with results including a unique ID and bounding box coordinates. Face attribute analysis delivers details like face orientation in 3D space, such as pitch, roll, or yaw, type of glasses worn, detecting blur in an image, measuring the amount of image exposure, determining noise in an image, identifying any objects obscuring the face, accessories worn, and rating the quality of an image to assess suitability for image recognition tasks. Facial landmarking provides coordinates for key facial features such as eyes, nose tip, and lip location. Face comparison matches faces across images. Face similarity is useful for finding lookalikes, while facial verification verifies identity by comparing two images. Facial verification is widely used by typically matching a live image, like a selfie, to a stored image, such as a passport photo, in scenarios like an online banking app. Facial recognition allows you to train models with a collection of faces belonging to specific individuals and use that model to identify people in new images. This is ideal for security or law enforcement systems. Facial liveness detection ensures the video stream is real, preventing spoofing attempts, vital for mobile finance applications. You can access these features by creating an Azure AI Face resource. Note that this service is restricted to managed customers and partners to align with Microsoft's responsible AI principles. To apply, visit this website. Computer vision is used in many business applications. In retail, computer vision is used for inventory management, shelf monitoring, and cashierless checkouts. Stores like Amazon Go use it to detect the items customers choose without needing a physical checkout. On e-commerce platforms, when merchants upload product images, computer vision generates tags and descriptions, helping users easily find what they want. In healthcare, computer vision aids in medical image analysis, reducing human error and improving diagnosis accuracy. It's a tool that helps doctors make more reliable decisions. It also helps researchers analyze vast image datasets to identify disease patterns, improve treatment outcomes, and track public health trends. In sports, advanced computer vision technology is used to enhance performance and reduce injury risks. Microsoft's partnership with USA Surfing is a great example. Using Azure AI Vision, they analyze athletes' movements, surfboards, and wave conditions to help pro surfers perform better and stay safer. This same technology is used in motion tracking for other sports to boost athletes' performance. In manufacturing, computer vision is critical for quality control. It automates visual inspections, ensuring products meet quality standards. Azure's visual inspection capabilities are a common solution for identifying defects on production lines. For autonomous vehicles, computer vision is essential. It enables vehicles to see and understand their surroundings, enhancing both safety and efficiency as cars navigate on their own. Facial verification is a major security application of computer vision. It's the technology behind Face ID on phones, which matches your face to a stored image to unlock your device. At a larger scale, Interpol uses facial recognition to maintain a global criminal database. In finance, mobile banking apps use facial verification to verify users' identities by comparing live images with government IDs. This ensures secure and smooth user access to financial services. Computer vision is also used in fields like agriculture crop monitoring, construction site management and quality control, wildlife conservation, ecosystem tracking, smart city traffic management, and the list will keep on growing. To access Azure AI Vision, Custom Vision, and Azure AI Face, you'll need to decide whether to use a multi-purpose Azure AI Services resource or create separate ones. This choice depends on whether you want to track costs separately or prefer ease of management. To create a multi-purpose resource, follow these steps. Go to the search bar in Azure Portal and search for Azure AI Services. Click Create, choose a resource group, select the nearest location, enter a name, and pick a pricing tier. Click Review plus Create, then click Create. Once the resource is created, you can access the keys and endpoints. This resource allows you to access services like Azure OpenAI, speech, content safety, computer vision, and a lot more. In the Access Control tab, you can manage user permissions. You can find both the custom vision and computer vision services in the Azure Marketplace. The setup process is similar to Azure AI Services. With custom vision, you can create a prediction resource, a training resource, or both, allowing you to monitor costs separately for each. Each service provides its own key and endpoint. Finally, to use Azure AI Face, you need to create a Face API resource. This service is not available via Azure AI Services and is subject to stricter access criteria to comply with Microsoft's responsible AI principles. Face data is more sensitive, and access is generally limited to Microsoft managed customers and partners. We will discuss this topic in more detail in the Responsible AI section of this course. To request access, fill out the application form provided here. Azure AI Vision Studio lets you explore the capabilities of Azure AI Vision without needing to code. You can find it by searching Azure AI Vision Studio in Bing. To access the studio, you'll need an Azure account to log in and a computer vision resource to try the different features. Once logged in, this is what the Vision Studio looks like. Let's start with optical character recognition. As you test each capability, select the Azure resource you'll use and acknowledge that usage counts against your resource limits. Azure offers 5,000 free transactions per month for the first year of your free subscription. For example, analyzing this sample post-it image returns the text it contains. Clicking the JSON tab shows both the text and its bounding box in the image. Even tilted images, like this Notion Facts photo, are accurately analyzed. Now let's explore the Image Analysis tab. Extracting common tags helps build a searchable image knowledge base. Dense captions provide multiple captions for an image, useful for accessibility and image sorting. The Recognize Products on Shelves feature detects empty shelves in a supermarket. The Spatial Analysis tab provides insights from videos. For example, the Video Summary and Frame Locator offers deeper insights like detecting spills or confirming when cleaning tasks are completed. Lastly, I'll demo face liveness and detection. First, I'll upload my producer's image. Okay, turning camera on. Then the system will verify via video that my producer is a live person and matches the photo we uploaded. Next, we'll test with another photo. Smile again. The system confirms he is live, but doesn't match the photo uploaded. This is perfect for mobile banking, where live detection and ID matching are crucial. In summary, Azure AI Vision Studio provides a user-friendly, no-code environment to explore powerful AI vision capabilities like OCR, image analysis, and facial recognition, all within your Azure resources. Let's demonstrate how you can create your own custom vision model. You would first need to create your own custom vision resource via the Azure portal. Search for Custom Vision in the search bar and create your resource. We already created one here. We then go to the Custom Vision Studio and sign in. You can find it by searching Custom Vision Studio in Bing. Ensure that your resource is properly selected in the studio. We now create a new object detection project. Our image dataset is a mix of cyclists and people to simulate a traffic safety system. We would like to create a custom vision model that identifies if an image contains a cyclist or a person. We upload all our images into the project. We then create two labels, person and cyclist. We then manually label each image, identifying them as one of the two possible labels. We need at least 15 images per label. Once labeling is complete, you can now train the system. We specify a minimum budget of 1 hour. Once training is done, we can see the performance of the training. You can test the custom model's performance also in the studio, which will show predictions and probabilities. We demonstrated how you can easily create your own custom vision model using Azure AI Custom Vision.